أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الكريم محمد الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, marhaban bikum ila qanati. Welcome you all to my channel. Ma'akum akhukum Abu Jandal. With you is a brother Abu Jandal. For those of us who have not been able to learn how to recite the Quran, today we shall be starting our new series on Learn the Quran from the scratch. And the very first thing we're going to be doing today is to learn the letters of the Quran, which is the letters of the Arabic. We all know that you cannot learn any language without learning the letters, especially if you want to improve your writing ability and also your reading ability. But if you so to speak, you may learn it from people without being able to write. But we should be reading the Quran, and therefore it is important for us to learn how to recite the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ has said in one of his ahadith that khayrukum, the best of you, man ta'allama al-Quran, is the one who learns the Quran wa allamah, and teaches it to others. And in several other hadiths he mentioned the virtues of reciting the Quran. Like when you recite the Quran, when you recite a letter of the Quran, you have 10 reward. If you say alif, you have 10 reward, lam, 10 reward, and mim, 10 reward. That is 30 reward just by saying alif, lam, mim. However, you know all the Quran contains a lot of verses, therefore we have many letters to be read from the Quran. If you are to be able to read the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward you abundantly, and on the day of judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call you to the best of positions. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward all of us abundantly and to grant us the understanding of the Quran. The first thing we're going to be starting with today is the learning of the letters, and today we have 5 letters to begin with. The first letter of the Quran is the letter this. Can we see the letter? Yes, we can all see it. This letter is called what? Alif. What do you think it looks like? It looks like 1. And this is one of its like. This letter has no similarity among all other letters. So we should know it to be what? Alif. We'll come back to it again. Alif. Just have it at the back of your mind that the very first letter looks like 1 as a number in the English language. And this is called Alif. The next 4 letters we'll be coming up with now are letters which are similar in their shapes. The only thing that differentiates them may be the dots they have. So the Arabic language letters, the alphabets of the Arabic, are usually similar. We have 2 alphabets that look alike, and we also have some which are even 3 and they look alike. These ones, they are 4 letters and all of them have similarity. So this will make it easier for us, because in the English language, if you look at A to Z, you see that most of the letters there, they have different shapes. But in Arabic, we have 2 letters, 3 letters which are common and similar in their shapes. So the letters we're going to be dealing with today, they all have these shapes. Can we see this shape? This is the shape we're going to be dealing with today, and this shape appears in 4 places. 1, we have the second 2, we have the third 3, and we have the fourth 4. Can we see? All of these, are they not similar? They are. This will make it easier for us. The only thing that will differentiate these letters, these shapes you're seeing, is the number of dots they have. As for this, it has a dot under it. A dot under it. This has 2 dots above it. This has 3 dots above it. And this has just a single dot above it. So in order to be able to differentiate these letters, we must know the position of the dots. Either the dot is on top, above, or under, or the dot is single, 2, or 3. And this is going to be very easy for us. We're going to learn this in the best of way that we think is better for you to understand. We all know as humans, we learn through images. Take for example, you walk on the streets, and as you walk by the streets, you see a lot of people passing by without any commotion, any problem among them. When you get home, you may not recall all that you have seen on the street. Do you know the particular image, the particular scenario you will recall? If you meet people fighting on the way and they punch themselves, when you get home, you will not forget it. Do you know why? Because that is dramatic. The brain, like anything that it can emotionalize. So we are going to try to emotionalize and to bring images to support the learning of these letters. Let's move on. You can see all of these letters. What shape do you think they look like? We can say they have the shape of a plate. The shape of what? A plate. The shape of a plate. We have a plate. This is the shape of a plate. Now, let's begin with the first letter. Forget about the shape of a plate first. We know that 4 letters have the shape of a plate. But let's bring other images that could make it easier for us. Think of this image here. Just take this image as it is. What do you think it looks like? I can tell you this is a bat. Do you know a bat? Yes. This is what? A bat. A bat as a bird. Cool? Yes. And this bat has an egg under it. This bat has laid an egg. And this egg, the bat is sitting over the egg. Just imagine a bat. You need to work with us. Let the brain work with this bat. Imagine a bat, this image, laid an egg and it is sitting over it in order to hatch it later. So the bat is sitting over the egg. This letter, can you see? This is the bat. Try to recognize, try to join, to connect this letter with this bat. Can you see it? This is a bat and this is the egg here. When next you see this letter, think of a bat. Let's close our eyes and imagine a bat sitting over the egg. Yes, can you see it? I've seen a bat sitting over the egg. And the bat is this. Can you see it here? So think of this. When you think of a bat, whenever you see this letter, which has a dot under it, this is a bat having the egg under it. And this letter simply is called ba. This letter is called what? Ba. Just say ba. Bat, ba. Can you see? This is a bat, this ba. Because they are similar. They're not. Of course they are. You just need to tell your brain that this image is the same with this and it will go. If I should clear this now and ask about this image, you see that it will come naturally because you think of quickly, you think of, oh, this is a bat because this is a bat sitting over the egg and this letter has a dot under it. That is that for the first letter, the letter ba. Let's move on to the second letter. We'll come back here. You see that before we return back to this letter, the brain would have done its assignments and you can call it even without the image. And it will not be hard for you again, inshallah. Let's move on to the second letter. Can you see this letter? This letter looks like a bucket. A what? A bucket. You know a bucket where we use to fetch water. Bucket that we used to do what? To fetch water. Where do you fetch water? Think, if you go to the bathroom to fetch water, what's that thing that you fetch water from? Wait, that through which you get water, what is that? A tap. A tap. You have a tap. We have what? We have a tap. Think of a tap. This is a tap from which you fetch water. Can you see the tap? Wow, this is nice. Wow, the tap brings water to the bucket. Can you see a tap? In some places, you have 2 taps. Yes, we have 2 taps. These are 2 taps in the bathroom. You have 2 taps in the bathroom. Can you see? Now, this is the bucket, and the water is coming down, is gushing out of the tap into the bucket. Can you see this image? It looks like the bucket, and it has 2 what? 2 taps over it, bringing water into it. That is very easy. Now close your eyes and imagine yourself inside the bathroom with a bucket and water is coming down. You just make sure you turn the tap. Imagine it in your imaginary image. Imagine it that you are turning the tap, 2 taps at once into the bucket. Yes, and the bucket, water is coming from 2 taps. Look at the 2 taps here. Can you see the 2 taps? Yes, 2 taps, and this is the bucket. Do you know the name of this letter? Very easy. This letter is called letter ta. This is called letter what? Letter ta. That is very easy. Letter what? This is letter ta. Because it is like a bucket having two taps on top of it. So it is called ta, like the tap you see in the kitchen, in the bathroom. That is very easy. Don't look at it to be cumbersome, because when next I ask you, the first thing that will come to your mind is, oh, this image looks like, okay, two taps in the, oh, ta. This is letter ta. We'll come back to it also. Let's move on to the next letter. This is the letter. You can see this letter now has 3 dots over it. 3 what? 3 dots over it. Now, in order to be able to pronounce this letter, let's also bring an image that normally this image will not have any word connection with this letter. But the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the image to like something that is dramatic, it will make you to understand this letter. Think of one of the most organs, the most important organs or the most important parts of your body is the mouth, because through the mouth we eat, through the mouth we talk, necessarily or unnecessarily. So this is the mouth, and the mouth has the upper teeth or the upper jaw where the teeth are, and the lower jaw. Can we say this? Yes. And in between the two teeth, the upper teeth and the lower teeth, we have another important organ, and that organ is the tongue. Yes, that is the tongue. Can we see? Now it involves this letter has 3 dots, and these 3 dots are represented by this upper teeth 1, lower teeth 2, and the tongue 3. So when next you see this letter, you should think of 1, 2, 3. Again, 1, 2, 3. So what is the connection? How do you pronounce this letter? By simply making the tongue to touch inside the teeth, the upper teeth. Look at it here. You make this tongue to touch here. So you simply say fa by blowing air out. Fa, fa, fa. You can see fa. Both the upper teeth and the lower teeth, you can see, but the tongue is made to touch the upper teeth. Fa. In English language, okay, let's write it first. Fa. In the English language, we have what we call the voiceless th and the voice th. For those of us who know English very well, we have this word, for example, both. With the th, how do you pronounce it? You simply say both. So the upper teeth, the lower teeth, and also the tongue, we have fa. So when next you see this letter that has 3 dots, what do you think of? You think of what? Fa, because 1, 2, fa. It is very easy. We'll come back to it. The last letter we have for today is this letter which has just a dot above it, and it is like these other letters, but this one has just a dot above it. Let's also think of a plate. This plate has a single cake over it. A single what? A single cake over it. Do you understand? A single cake over it. And as you approach to pick the cake, the plate shouts, no, no, don't pick it, no, no. Do you understand this? A single ball, a single cake over the plate, and you go there to pick the cake, and the plate shouts no, because it is holding the plate above it. It's holding the cake above it, and this letter is called what? Letter nun. Letter what? Nun. No. The letter that did not go area letter nun. Say what? Nun. Let's write it. Nun. Nun. Some of us may look at it that these images, do they really make sense? It makes sense. Do you know why? The brain likes something that doesn't make sense. When you go on the way and you see everything moving smoothly, you forget everything. But if there's an accident, 2 cars jump, whoo, you will not forget it. That is a good image for you to capture. It will remain in the brain forever. So these images, they disturb your brain, and therefore they make an impact on the brain. Let's quickly go back to these letters, to these images, and thereafter we'll wipe them off, and you will see that the letters are already stuck into your brain. Let's go. The first letter we have, this is easy. This is letter what? Alif. This is easy, letter Alif, the one that looks like one, letter Alif. The second letter is letter what? Ba. Because what do you think of when you say letter Ba? You think of a bat sitting over the egg. Bat, ba, bat, ba. The next letter is the one that has two dots above it. And those two dots, what do you think of when you see letter that has two dots above it? You think of the tap in the bathroom. So tap, to tap, tap. Okay. Oh, letter that has two dots above is ta, because it has two taps above it. Fetch putting water in the bucket. Look at the bucket. This is the two tap. And the next letter is letter Fa, the one that involves three dots, and those three dots are 1, 2, 3. So you simply say, you pull your tongue out and say Fa. Pull your tongue out and say Fa. If it is difficult for you, you can simply put your tongue in between the teeth. We'll learn how to pronounce it better later. So now you can simply say Fa, Fa, making the teeth to touch the tongue. Let the tongue be in between them. You can simply say Fa, Fa. Again, Fa, because it have three dots, so it is involving three parts of the mouth. And lastly, we have the letter which has a single dot above it, and we said that dot is like what? Good. A cake over it, and you went there to pick it. Imagine it. Close your eyes and imagine you went to pick a cake from the plate, and you suddenly hear a sound. No! That is letter Noon. Letter what? Noon. Again, letter Noon. This is very easy. Revise very well. Now let's go back and clean the images so that we point at the letters and see if you already know them, and sure you know them. Now, mashallah, we have these four letters. What letter is this? Letter that has no similarity? Good, that is letter Alif. Now looking at this letter, the one that has dots under it, what comes to your mind? What image? Good, good, good. Close your eyes and think. Yes, the image of a bat sitting over the egg. And this letter is what? What? Ba. Bat. Ba, ba, ba. The next letter has two dots over it. What comes to your mind? Two. Where do we talk about two things? Okay, in the bathroom, two what? Ta. Yes, can you see? It is very easy. It's already coming to your mind, because the next thing that comes to your mind is the image that was formed while we were learning it. So whether the image is there or not, you always recall ta, ta, ta. The last is the one that has three dots, and those three dots are represented by what? 1, 2. Good. Fa. Again. 1, 2, fa. Do you understand? Fa, because this has three dots. And the last, recall the plate that you went to pick the cake from. What was the plate saying? Noon. MashaAllah. Noon, 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 noon. So let's quickly mix them up so that we can see if we have learned it very well. Now, look at the letters. Now they are mixed up. Let's see if we can quickly go through them. What letter is this? One dot on top. What is it saying? Noon. This is noon. Letter what? Noon. This letter, two dots on top. Think fast. Ta, because of the tap. This letter, ba. This letter, fa. 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 By placing the tongue here, we have what? Fa. Fa. And this letter, again, this is ta. This is ba. Fa. Ta. Ba. Ta. Noon. Fa. Again, noon. Ta. Ba. Fa. Ta. Ba. Sa, ta, ba, ta, noon, and tha. With this, we come to the end of the very first sets of letters which we begin with. It is very easy. Even if you don't revise again for now, just go on to carrying out your activities of the day. Later, as you are doing your activities, if your work, your schooling, you are reading, whatever, make sure you think of the letters. Okay, just think of the images. Okay, we have the first letter that has dot on that. What is it? It is ba. Second letter having two dots on top, it is what? Ta. You see that you enjoy it very well because the images will make it very easy for you. You don't need to shout noon, ba, ta, tha. It is very easy. It will stick to your mind. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reward all of us abundantly and to make it easy for you. Allahumma la sahla illa ma ja'altahu sahla wa anta taj'alul hazana idha shi'ta sahla. Therefore, the next set of letters we'll be coming with will be the very ones that will take us closer to the end of this session. We'll be learning the letters, and thereafter we'll move on to the vowels and other topics which will make it easy for you to recite the Quran. Stay tuned until we meet again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.